Hi, everybody, and here we are, week number 3. I hope that you enjoyed last week's exercises and critiques and so on, and are all ready for this week where we're going to be learning about LinkedIn and networking. So it is going to be a busy week, so I do really need you to pay close attention, okay? Let me just start off by chatting about the mock interviews, okay? They're scheduled for the week of July 22, so that's in like 2 weeks, all right? Um, I am going to be opening a Google Doc sign up sheet for you this Wednesday, 8 a.m. Just look for it, okay? It's in Moodle, all right? Or it will become available actually in Moodle on Wednesday, all right? Um, the interviewers, I've actually included their bios in two places. So in this week's folder, and then again in next week's support folder. And I suggest that you get to know each of them by reading their bios, and then seeing if you can find them on LinkedIn and so on, learning everything that you can about them. Um, and while you do that, start thinking about your first, second, and third choices because the sign up is on a first come, first serve basis. All right. And also, the interviewers are only available at certain times. All right. And what I was just saying too about going online and learning about them and finding out who they are and so on, it's not just a great idea to do this for this, process in COM 490, but to do it in any situation in the real world. Okay. Again, it's one of those things that puts you ahead of what most other people do. Okay, so let's talk about the sign up sheet. When you pull it up, please add your name in one of the available blocks. And by that, I mean one that isn't blacked out or has another student's name in the time slot. Okay. Now, this may sound like a no-brainer, but I usually have one or two students who misunderstand and unblock the blacked out time slot and put their names in there. Okay. Um, yeah, it's unfortunately it is a true story. So just the ones that are available, please. And if you have any confusion about it, just ask me, okay? I think, well, we'll see. Anyway, your next task after that is going to be to email your interview using the email address that's located beneath their names on the interview bio sheet. All right. You are going to need to forward to them your resume, your cover letter, the chosen job description, your LinkedIn URL, and the link to your RRU Zoom room. Because these meetings are not recorded, and because I understand that some people don't actually have their own RRU Zoom room link, you can also use another video conferencing platform, something like Teams or whatever, or even the interviewer's video link. Sometimes they'll just offer to send it to you, and it's perfectly okay to do that. All right. And so when you contact your interviewer, make sure you don't just go, hello, here I am, say something like, thank you, Kathy, for the opportunity to have an interview with you on Tuesday, July 24th at 10:30 in the morning. Then say, here's the link to the Zoom room meeting, and then tell them that you're attaching your resume, cover letter, job posting, and LinkedIn URL. Okay. Um, please, please, please be certain to send your emails to your interviewers 1 week in advance. These folks are taking time away from their own work, and we need to give them as much lead-in time as possible. All right. And afterwards, please thank them for their time, preferably with a written note, which again is another practice to follow in the real world and another way to differentiate you from the competition. Okay. And in case you can't remember all of this, there is a page in week four's folder called mock interviews, which takes you through the process step by step. Um, Okay, LinkedIn. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot to cover this week, so please give yourself ample time to read the LinkedIn overview, watch the LinkedIn videos to help you build your profile, credibility, and engagement, and also the guide to staying safe on the platform. You'll notice too that I've included a section on networking. And as I mentioned to you before, it's technically not a proponent of COM 490, but I know it's one of the things that tends to scare people. Now, the videos are meant to give you tips and resources for when you actually begin job hunting, because, well, the sad truth is that more than 85% of the workforce get hired through who they know and not job boards. So another thing too is that there's a ton of stuff on here, and I recognize that. And you can feel quite free to download all of the resources when you finish the program, and use them for when you actually start getting out there and look for work. Okay. You'll also see that I've included other resources in the LinkedIn resource folder. There's a quick reference guide called Sample LinkedIn Optimized Profile and a list of sample scripts for giving and getting recommendations. All right, because that's one of the items, one of the parts of assignment number one. And there are people that sometimes come up in my classes who don't want their profile online. So there's also an example of what the LinkedIn on paper format should look like. Okay. Um, the last resource is a quick reference guide on how to use Boolean strings, also known as operators, to conduct searches on LinkedIn. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with Boolean strings, they're simply a set of commands used in search engines, and they use and or not. Okay. And like I said, the PDF goes into a little bit more detail on them. I don't want you to get too hung up on them right now. You can always talk to me about it in one of our Wednesday sessions, but also what I would suggest that you do is when the program's over, just spend time playing around with them to see how you can reach and find different people, okay? Because LinkedIn's power is its search engine function. And it is really worth the time to explore it. So you can reach out and find out who's who in the Zoom, okay? Um, One last note, thank you for your resumes and cover letters. I've had a chance to read them over, and I should be able to get your critiques to you very soon. What I can say is that they're pretty good. Again, though, the two most common issues, and I always see this, so don't feel bad about anything, is untargeting to the job posting, right? So that's pillar number one, the strategy porch, and number two are complete or incomplete or no smart statements. And right, like I said before, I don't want to see a laundry list of the duties and responsibilities. I want to see the benefits that you brought when exercising those duties and responsibilities. Okay. So that is just about it for this week, everybody. Again, have a great week. You know where to find me if you need me, and of course, I'm going to be on Wednesday in the Zoom room. So take care and enjoy the process, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, cheerio.